Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. We are checking out the public beta release for firmware 31.04 on the Axe-FX 3 today. I'm calling this the Chainsaw Update because it adds a model of the Boss HM2 to the drive block. There's also a new transistor type in the power amp section of the amp block. The reverb block has been reorganized, and there's some tasty updates to the gate. Let's start off with a crunchy JCM 800. I've got my PRS in drop C, and we're going to set the new Swedish metal drive type, which is a model of the HM2, to the iconic All Knobs on full setting. So distortion, low, high, and level all the way up. This transforms this crunchy amp into an absolute beast. Let's hear it. A bunch of you are watching and listening to this and thinking that that's the worst sound you've heard in your life. Just keep in mind there's a bunch of other people watching it thinking that that HM2 into a crunchy amp sound, that is the pinnacle. And if you want to listen to some music that uses these sounds, go and listen to any early to mid 90s death metal. In particular, go and check out the album Left Hand Path by Entombed, because I didn't get the HM2 obsession until I went and listened to that album and I went, that's the sound, right? It all makes sense. Another great use for the HM2 is running it into a clean amp for a Gilmour-style tone, and I'll show you how I set that. This is my clean Gift of Tone preset that was given away on the Fractal website from a few years ago. I'm using Scene 2 based around the ODS 100 clean. I've got my free EV IR in here, a bit of the Aurora delay, and a little bit of the Mechanics Hall reverb. And you'll notice a change here in the reverb type because all the reverbs are now grouped by category. So you have all of the halls together, all of the plates together, all of the rooms, all of the chambers. This is such a welcome addition. It makes finding and selecting reverbs so much easier. I really, really appreciate this. But back to the HM2. So we've got this clean core tone on there with some lovely ambience. And the settings that I settled on are the distortion at 6, the low at 8, keep the high at noon, and then play around with the level for the amount of boost you want in front of the amp. And this gives you quite a lovely, smooth, fuzz style tone on here. It's really nice on a Strat neck pickup. This is a Fender Ultra 2 Strat, or on a bridge pickup as well, which I will let you hear. We'll hear it clean first though. That's an awesome alternative to a traditional fuzz for a thick and smooth lead tone. I love how much sustain is on there as well. A really interesting feature that has been added in here is now in the power tube section, you can select transistor in there. And I'm really hoping this is because Fractal are at some point going to expand their amp model selection to include some classic solid state amp designs, the Marshall 8100 valve state, the Sun Beta lead, some Randall amps would be very, very welcome additions in here because so many classic recordings were made with those amps. But you can kind of hack your own valve state at the moment by taking a Marshall model. I've got the Brit 800 2203 high, and then swapping out the power tube type for Transistor. You do lose a bit of volume on this, so you can compensate by turning up the master volume or the amp block level, but it's a pretty cool sound and it's an interesting feel as well. Let's hear it. The real fun begins though when you really push these amps in this transistor mode over here. So I've used a 7-band EQ for a mid boost and a massive level boost before the amp, same settings on the amp, and then I've given it a little bit of a mid cut and a high and bass boost using the graphic EQ. In the input block as well, I can now take the attack of the gate all the way down to 0.1 milliseconds. So I'm going to do that. I'll turn the threshold and the ratio up as well as turning down the release. Now I get this. I really need to learn some more Pantera riffs. Nevertheless, you can do some very cool tones with that. And like I said earlier, I hope they add some models of some of these classic solid-state amps to the Axe-Fx ecosystem. That is it for today's video. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I will play you all out with that Gilmour-inspired tone that I dialed in with the HM2. If you'd like to support what I'm doing here on the channel, there's links to my Patreon and the music that I make with my band Ragdoll. You can grab my free IR in the video description. Now grab your guitars and go make some loud guitar noises. I'll see you next time.